All right, everybody, I am so excited to announce the very, very first official episode of the Ask Devin Anything segment here on the Burn Bootcamp podcast. Are you ready for it? This is an opportunity for you to sit down and for you and I to have a one-on-one conversation, or one-on-many if you are here on a podcast, but I'm talking right to you. Okay, I'm talking right to your soul, and I want to help you move the needle in your life. I want to help you get to the next level, because that's why you're here, isn't it? That's why you're a part of Burn Nation, or not, or why you're listening to this, is to go to the next level. So I don't know about you, but when I listen to a podcast, I'm listening to that podcast to find the golden nugget. When I'm reading a book, I'm reading a book to find the golden nugget. I have nothing against listening to like murder mystery episodes or reading podcasts or reading books that are novels. That's just not how I roll, all right? If that's what you want to do for your like hour a day where you have some leisure time to, kind of escape, you're using that as some escapism, fine, be my guest. But if it's more than an hour a day, then me and you, we need to talk. We have some problems because there is a life in front of you, and you have yourself and your family and your community, and that's all you have, and you need to be the person that they can lean on. And this podcast, the Burn Bootcamp podcast, and especially this show where I'm fielding questions directly from you, is going to help you build up to the person that you've always wanted to become, all right? It's strategy, it's game planning, it's asking hard, philosophical, deep questions. I don't know everything. I'm not proclaiming that I know everything, but I definitely didn't know a lot when I was, 24 when I started Burn Bootcamp, when we started with $600 in a parking lot. And, 10 years later, I've had a lot of experiences and a lot of observations. I've had to go through a lot myself, just self-discovery, self-actualization, finding out who I am. And that journey's not going to continue, but I've gained a lot of ground in the last 10 years. And now I feel an obligation to share some of that with you through the form of answering your questions. So it's me and you, it's one-on-one, it's like we're in a living room, and hopefully you're inviting me in, and hopefully you're here because you do want that voice, if I'm speaking about myself, I want to be the voice for people, the voice that I always wished that I had when I was a kid, right? I wish that my father was there being a mentor for me, or I had an uncle who was a mentor, or someone in my life that could be there that had the answers to the questions that I was seeking, and nobody ever was. So I had this long road of kind of figuring out myself from the time I was a young teenager until now. I've really been a man, and I've been able to do some pretty cool things in my life, and I feel morally obligated to share those things with you. And so questions are going to come in from all over the internet. From YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. You can ask questions on LinkedIn, direct messages. Anyway, like my team and I, we're on all of our platforms, both Burn Bootcamp and Devin and Morgan Klein, and we're here to answer all of your pressing questions on the Ask Devin Anything show. Are they ready, Isaiah? You think they're ready? All right, I think you guys are ready too. Hopefully, you are here with the intent to learn, because that's exactly what we are going to do. Like I said, when I listen to a podcast, my goal is to get the golden nugget. And I hope your goal is to get the golden nugget too. So if you have a pen, if you have a pencil, if you have a piece of paper, get it out. If you are listening while you're driving, please don't. And if you're walking, take out your phone, write some notes down, and make sure that you are capturing any golden nuggets that you get from this episode. And by the way, these are weekly. They're coming at you weekly. All right, so make sure you're subscribing to the podcast. We're also releasing these on YouTube, and we're turning it up. Our YouTube game is about to turn up to 1,000 and get real. And I'm going to get into the first question. Okay, number one, do you think music affects your workout? I love this question because I looked at it and I was like, oh, that's such a boring question. Such a boring question. How can I make this answer really deep and fun and philosophical? And the answer is this. You can, and if you're willing to take the journey with me, we're going to do it. Okay, so I said when I work out, I work out. All right, when I listen to podcasts, I'm searching for the golden nugget. When I read a book, I'm looking for that one novel idea that I can really take away. All right, when I'm working out, I'm trying to get every ounce of sweat out of my body possible. I'm trying to squeeze that lemon dry. I'm maximizing my workout, and I found a formula to maximize the intensity of your workout. By the way, before I tell you the formula, intensity in your workout to me is one of the tools that you can use, if not the most important tool. let's take that up a notch. It is the most important tool that you can possibly use to build your life is a demanding workout. A demanding workout. I mean one that has intensity associated with it. One that you are going, and I'm a 45-minute guy, and my Burn Bootcamp Nation knows that. I go 45 minutes, and that's it. That's all we need because we got one speed, and that's pedal to the metal. We're hitting it hard, and we're leaving everything that we have out on the floor. Now, I want you to do that, all right? I want you to show yourself how a demanding workout can impact your life well beyond just the 45 minutes in which you do so. How pushing yourself to do that last rep, or pushing yourself to do 5 more reps, or that last squat when you think you can't do it, when that little voice in your head flips on and says put the weight down, and you dominate it and you do 3 more, that is what I want to get you to, okay? And you need a formula to be able to do that. And when you do that, every single day when you walk into the gym and you perform your 45-minute workout or less, I'm also a fan of 30-minute, 20-minute, 15, 10-minute, 5-minute. I'm talking hardcore, pedal to the metal, everything you have, no more than 45 minutes. This is going to give you an opportunity in your life, and every single day, it's going to give you an opportunity to flex that self-awareness muscle. What are you really made out of? Because when you go to do a workout and you have, let's say, 100 burpees in a workout right in front of you, I don't care whether you're a professional athlete or you're somebody that just started working out yesterday. When you step up to do those 100 burpees, there's a fear that sets in. There's a doubt that sets in. And working out in a demanding fashion is going to bring up doubts, and it's going to bring up fears. And your job in those moments is to overcome those things. That is why the physical challenge that most people just call inferior to like an intellectual challenge. Well, really, the mind and body is connected. You don't need to try to create this mind-body connection. What you have automatically built in is a physiological response to the way you think and a psychological response to the way you move. They're intertwined. You don't need to worry about the mind-body connection. All you got to do is get to that beats per minute, or that heart rate to which you're in a demanding state. And if you do that every day and you set in 45 minutes a day, and even if you just do one little tiny thing that you didn't think you could do before you walked in that day, you are just going to develop as a person. And that's what this podcast is about. That's what Morgan and I stand for. That's what Burn Bootcamp stands for, is to help you develop as a person. A human being, an individual who has goals and desires and dreams and ambitions, but also has this tyranny inside of our head, this negative voice that we constantly go back and forth with. And we need to figure out how to sort that voice out and how to make decisions that are good for us and that would be good for our families and that would be good for the people who we are responsible for. But before you can be responsible for anybody, y'all, you've got to be responsible for yourself. And the problem with society today is nobody is taking responsibility for themselves, but they want to take responsibility for everyone else. You have to keep your car clean, all right, before you can go making judgments on other people's lives. And one good way to do that and to make sure that you are constantly progressing is to make sure you are doing a demanding workout every single day. All right, now, if you believe that even remotely that these demanding workouts, by the way, which are different than exercise and activity, those are less demanding forms of working out, right? I don't think playing pickleball is demanding training, but I think it's activity, right? Like, it's good for you to do those things, right? Next level up in exercise, yes, cycling and swimming and these things. This is exercise. I'm talking about training. I'm talking about stepping into the gym. I'm talking about me versus me versus that workout, me versus that repetition, and I'm going to dominate every ounce of that. That's what I'm talking about. That is training, and that's what I'm trying to get everybody in the world to do for 45 minutes every single day through the Burn Bootcamp mechanism. Okay, so let's go back. I told you I would tell you the formula around what intensity actually is. So you're following me here. What we're going to do is we're going to build a formula for these demanding workouts. You need 3 things, okay? 3 things. This is how you get the most demanding workout. And I'm getting back to your question too, by the way. Don't worry about that. Number 1, all right, is a trainer. If you have a personal trainer, you have a lot of intensity, all right? Especially if you have the right personal trainer that you actually have a player-coach relationship with that you want to work hard for, then you have a lot of intensity because you have respect and admiration for the authority of that trainer and what they're telling you to do. You then in turn want to please them because of that admiration, of that respect for them. And that in turn gets intensity out of you because you have something that you're pushing for that relationship. So that's one. Number two is the community, other people around you. Are you going to work out harder if you're in your living room by yourself, or are you going to work out harder if you're in a community of like-minded people all pushing hardcore together? A little asterisk to that. So when Peloton had their big blow during the pandemic and their CEO said that they wanted to do 100 million subscribers because he thought that nobody was ever going to leave their house again, and he was adamant about this, and I'm like, dude, you're like, all due respect, I'm a big Peloton fan, but you are out of your mind if you think that there's going to be this mass recluse of people to their house. Do you know what the most devastating form of human punishment is? Isolation. Putting people in four walls. That's what they do with the world's worst criminals. Rapists, murderers. They put them in four-wall isolation, the holding cell, and don't let them talk to anybody. Okay? That is human nature. This is our design for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. This is the way we were designed. This is the way we were developed to have a tribe and have a community in which we all have a reciprocation for one another. And all of that is rooted in success and survival of the fittest by a group. And so that is the reason why you're going to have more intensity with a community than you're going to have by your individual self, is because now not only do you have the energy from the trainer, but now you have the energy from other people, okay? And you're never going to work out as hard by yourself as you would in a group. And I think you can all realize why that is. Finally, now I'm getting to your question, is the music. And this is the most overlooked part of the fitness industry, if you want my opinion, is that how important music is to the experience of creating a demanding workout, should that be said company's goal. For me, I want to get something, here we go. I want to get someone to do something they've never done before today. That's my goal in every workout. If I see someone that I've never met before, or I see somebody who is really working hard and I've trained them 1,000 times, my goal is to get that person to identify where that ceiling is that they've hit in the past and then to do just a little bit more. We call that outside your comfort zone, right? You've heard that terminology many times. So it's trainer, it's music, and it's community. And those three things to me equal intensity, all right? Now there's one more thing, and this is the fundamental difference between you and maybe somebody else, would be your own individual unique motivation. What are your goals? What compelling version of the future do you have written down on a piece of paper? I'm going to teach you guys how to set goals. Isaiah, make a note of that, okay? I'm going to teach them how every year in a future Ask Devin Anything, I'm going to teach them how I set goals every year. All right, we'll put a pin in that one, but you got to set the goals, and it's set goals. Everybody tells you to set goals, so it becomes this white noise that you may not take serious, but I'm telling you, setting goals and putting these goals on a piece of paper from a physical standpoint, financial standpoint, we'll talk about that during our goal setting session, and we'll get that done here shortly, and I promise you I'll bring you that here in the future. But today, I want to make sure that you are really getting across what intensity is and how demanding workouts can affect your life, with music being a part of that. So your own individual motivation. What is a non-negotiable for you? In Stop Starting Over, my book, I talk about your North Star. What is that light in your life that is so clear and so out front of you, and so you gravitate toward that thing so hard and it pulls you forward that you can't help but to make progress toward it? All right, and furthermore, what's just as important as a goal, if not more important, is what you're trying to run from. What's that goal you're trying to run from? Why is that more important? Because you've experienced that before. Why do people tell you to manifest and visualize the goals and the dreams that you have for yourself in the future? Because the more you manifest and visualize, the more your reticular activating system, your RAC, and your prefrontal cortex is going to start to image and notice the things around you that are in alignment with that goal. If you start to tell yourself a non-negotiable, sincere I will not ever go back to this point in my past that I was at that made me completely change my life around. Whatever that event was, you've experienced that. You need to identify both of those things. Now you have something to run from, something that's pushing you away from it, and something that's pulling you toward it. And it's so very important. So when you have the trainer, when you have the music, when you have the community, and when you have your own personal motivation, the most important one, and those goals are set in stone, then you have intensity, and then you have consistency, and then you have relentlessness. But if you just had one of those, DK, which one would you choose? That's a great question. Then the question you have to ask is, well, which one is most in my control? Okay, well, a trainer, that's going to cost you money. Music, sometimes you don't have Wi-Fi. A community, sometimes you're on vacation by yourself, and you're the only person around you that wants to work out. So then that leaves one thing. And what is that one thing? Your own individual conviction around what you want to do with your life, what your goals, what your dreams are. And then if you've done your job, what you've done is you've told yourself, you've given yourself a narrative at how health is a non-negotiable to reach that goal, because without your health, what do you have? Nothing. So health is everything. Why do I think the number one strategy for success in life is a demanding workout 7 days a week? 6 maybe? I like 7. I'm not going to stand down from that. I like 7 because a demanding workout for me could also mean sprinting hardcore for 5 straight minutes and getting just my heart rate up enough. I don't need to necessarily go 45 minutes hardcore and lift weights and go to hypertrophy every day. I can go out and do hardcore cardio or some 5-minute sprinting or some 12-minute burst training. It's just a demand. It's a demand that it's a non-negotiable, and I need to demand of myself that I do this daily. All right, you get the point? All right, I drilled that one a lot. All right, now for the average person, that motivation hasn't been figured out yet. Because I speak to people all the time, and I ask them to raise their hand and tell me what their vision is with no limitations or consequences. If they have it written on a piece of paper at home, to raise their hand. And out of 1,000 people, maybe 5%. I also ask a lot of things like, what are your core values? What is your personal philosophy? What is your personal mission statement? A lot of these things that I've had to explore to set up a business, I've also used to set up my personal business, my personal life. And so these are some of the things that we're going to explore at Ask Devin Anything, is getting your personal life set up, getting your human potential, like getting a game plan together to maximize that human potential, okay? So when you work out. When you do activity. But when you train, go after it, hardcore, okay? That is going to make you so proud that you just show up, even though that you don't want to show up. Just get there, just press play, just go to the gym, just get in the car, and just make it happen, okay? So, I'm going to move on to the next question, but before I do that, I want to do one thing really quickly. And that one thing is to give you some homework, okay? So I really enjoyed in my personal journey being able to make one decision that takes care of a lot of decisions. For example, you all know Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs made the iPhone. It's changed the world, all of our lives, certainly. Unless you're one of those Samsung people and you're from a cave somewhere. I'm just kidding, Samsung people. I love you too. But you all know Steve Jobs for revolutionizing the world. Well, Steve Jobs was famous for something else too. He was famous for wearing the same exact black turtleneck sweatshirt and the same exact blue jeans every single day. Why? Because this is a very busy man. And his philosophy was that what I'm going to do is make one decision that takes care of thousands of other decisions that I would have to make, because doing that opens up the limited capacity that I have to make decisions as an individual, And that is a good thing to have more capacity, because more capacity is more original thought. More original thought is more ideas, more creativity. More creativity, if you execute on it, the more you're desired by the world. So it's very important to listen to what I'm about to say. This one decision can make the decision for you for the rest of your life if you really let it, all right? And the one decision I made was that every day I'm doing demanding training. Every single day. 6 days a week for me, that's 45 minutes. 1 day a week for me, that's lighter than 45 minutes. I made that one decision. Furthermore, I said I'm going to train at this time, every single day, this way, at this place, and that's just going to be called workout. So now it's not, oh, what time am I going to work out today? Oh, where's room on my calendar? Oh, let me talk to Leslie, because Leslie's my executive assistant. Let me see, when I can squeeze in a workout on Wednesday, because I'm super busy. Nope. It's one decision that was made, okay, that took care of thousands of other decisions over the coming days that I would have to make, and that's get up, work out, get up, you train 45 minutes every day at the same time. That's it, non-negotiable. So here's my question for you. What's non-negotiable in your life right now? I want you to either put this in your phone or store this in your mind to think about. I want you to write down 3 things that are non-negotiable. And what I want you to do is tag me in a DM or on the story publicly if you prefer. And I want you to tell me, what are 3 non-negotiable things in your life? Okay, what are 3 things that are non-negotiable that have helped you? All right? And then what's one decision that you can make that you need to make? It's going to be so obvious to you when you answer this question. What's one decision you need to make that you need to make that's going to solve you making thousands of other decisions in the future? All right? Is that what you eat? Is it what you wear? Is it where you work out? Okay, what's going to move the needle the most for you in your life? Is it when you read? Is it when you write? Okay, that's called a routine. And if you start to get your routine together, and it's anchored by what I call our demanding training, it's anchored by demanding training, then now I have this non-negotiable in my life that is going to serve my human potential, whether I like it or not, because my mind is connected to my body. My mind is my body is my mind. And really the body is just a conditioned program of the mind. That's what habits are. Right? So you have the power and the decision to change the rituals that will become habits that you'll start to do on autopilot. Right? How many things do you do in your daily life that are just on autopilot? Okay? Probably a lot of them. What do you do that's good for you? What do you do that's bad for you? What should you start doing and what should you stop doing? I'm going to ask you a lot of questions on Ask Devin Anything because you're asking me questions. All right? And the mentor in me says, Devin, don't give advice. Ask questions, all right? So my question, what do you need to stop doing? What do you need to start doing, okay? Tag me. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk. People think that I don't answer my own Instagram and stuff. It's nonsense. What am I doing here? What am I doing here if it's not to serve you to the fullest capacity? I've got more than I ever need, more than enough, okay? The business is great. I'm excited to be an operator and run it every single day. But part of running the business is helping you, okay? And whether you are a Burn member or not, I have this, I don't know, it's like a weird, tell me if you feel this at all, but it's like this weird calling, and it's this voice that keeps getting louder the more I think about it every day. It's like every time I hear a story of Burn Boot Camp or my messages saving someone's life, which is a real thing, you guys. We're getting emails every week. Maybe not every week, every few weeks, every month, definitely. Every time I go to a location and visit, there are stories of how we've helped somebody. This tool of demanding workouts has helped somebody rethink what their purpose in life is. From save their life to get rid of a job that they didn't like or wasn't serving them, or to get out of a relationship. I mean, you name it. And so I have this voice that keeps calling to me louder and louder and louder every day to really be able to serve you the best that I possibly can. All right? And so that leads me to my next question is somebody asked, Devin, I'm loving the podcast. What's the future of the podcast? Okay, the future of the podcast, guys, is we are going to turn it way, way up for you, okay? we're going to start releasing episodes every single day, all right? Monday through Monday, so that you can tune in to Burn Bootcamp outside of the four walls of the gym, or if you're not near a gym, you can have more of this lifestyle and more of the positive, optimistic, kind nature in the way that we operate. You can have more of this stuff in your life. You can be more ingrained into what we're doing, because one thing I do know, and this will go back to my point about community, is when you're working out by yourself at your house, it's not near as intense as when you're working out in a team atmosphere, okay? When you are going through life alone and you don't have anyone to bounce anything off of, you think that you're just handling it, but you think that everything is happening to you specifically and not to everyone. You have a unique story, but we're all struggling. I'm struggling. Like, I had a hell of a day today. The punchline is I ended up in Senator Thom Tillis's office. Yeah, that's a podcast story for another day, right? And it was not for political reasons. I'm not a political person whatsoever. But we all have struggles. We all go through these journeys. I made 13 errors by the time it was like noon today. And I was like, are you even an adult, Devin? Like, are you adulting? I didn't have my passport. I didn't have my license. I didn't have my correct ID. I didn't have my debit card, my bank account information. Like, I let some of my personal identification stuff get outdue, and life happens. And I had to cancel meetings, and I was frustrated and I was flustered. These things happen, and what this world needs more of is people like me to tell you that have experienced a level of success, is to tell you that you're not alone, and that I'm on this journey with you, and that everybody that has two eyes and ears, a nose, mouth, brain, like, we're all going through the same thing together. This is life. This is us, and I think we need to do more of it together. That's where the podcast is going. I want to sell you nothing. If you want to listen to my advice and go join a Burn Bootcamp gym or buy any of our products, well, obviously, I would advise you to do that, because I buy all of our products, and that's the lifestyle that I chose to lead, and that's who I am. But outside of that, like, that's my business. That's what we're here for. But outside of that, I have nothing to sell you. I'm going to tell you all the things that can make you successful. I'm not going to sell you e-courses and e-books and online, seminars and PowerPoints and presentations. And I'm just going to tell you all the things, because I want so badly for you to be successful, and I want so badly for you to know that you're not alone. And hopefully that will inspire other people who are in positions similar to mine to realize that, A, we're not that cool, and the stuff that we have, that we've built, it's not that secret. So why are you holding back and not sharing that out with everyone else? That seems kind of selfish and egotistical. If you want my my honest opinion, is you think you're so good that you're not giving away your secrets because people are going to use them and all of a sudden become your competitors. That's not going to happen. All right. So that's first and foremost. I think that it's for me to be able to just hand you everything and say, here is my secret sauce, or whatever you want to call it. Here's how a human being goes from a person who is 24 years old like me, who lived their whole life on welfare, who has a mom he hasn't talked to in over a decade, abusive father, all that stuff, the whole 9 yards. So most of you know my story. To go from that life to where I'm at now, there's a lot of hardship, and there's a lot of lessons learned, and there's a lot of things that I could probably charge you for that I don't want to, because we need more leadership. We need that voice. This is the voice that's getting louder. It's saying, Devin, we need more voices like yours to be able to help people do what you did. And so that's what the future of the podcast is all about, is to help you. If you've ever looked up or respected Burn or myself or Morgan or anyone else, Ask Devin Anything is about just the tell-all. Let me answer all the questions that you have, and let's build a relationship together, okay? And I'm going to ask you questions back, and I'm going to often give you homework, and so I'll know you if you're participating or not, because it actually is me on my social media platforms, and I will know. And I have relationships with a lot of you, as you already know, who've engaged with me in the past. So those are the two questions for today, all right? I see we're going to, when I looked at these two questions, do you think music affects your workout, and what's the future of the podcast? Those were kind of okay questions at first, but I thought we did a pretty good job of getting deep. What do you think, Isaiah? Do we do a pretty good job?
Right on time.
Right on time, everybody. We're going to spend 30 minutes together, by the way, on Ask Devin Anything, guys. And I'm going to be doing this from like all over the world. So just look out for, different backdrops and things like that. It will always be on YouTube under Ask Devin Anything. You can search that on Google or YouTube, and also the podcast that way too. All right, so go ahead and submit your questions anywhere on the internet. Instagram stories is the best place. If you want to just comment back to a story, ask me a quick question. I'll do polls and open-ended stuff all the time. So yeah, I'm an open book, guys. Ask anything and you shall receive. We always do 2 claps on 2 to end the podcast. Thanks for listening for the first Ask Devin Anything episode. 2 claps on 2. 1, 2.